Hi guys, in this video we're going to talk about probably the most common error when it comes from recreational level all the way to advanced level. And this is something that you see a lot of players doing all the time in tournaments, and often they lose the point for it, and that is ball watching. So in this video we're going to give you 3 separate examples of when you shouldn't just be staring at that ball and what you should be doing instead. The first of these is on your shot, and by that I mean when your opponent hits the ball, players are watching that ball all the way from their racket all the way until it bounces, and then they're deciding to move and they have to rush their shot because they've left it so late to prepare. Now, partly this could be down to the split step and the footwork, but most of the time it's just because the players are not thinking or anticipating early enough and they're just watching the ball come. They need to, as soon as the opponent has contacted that ball, they need to bounce on their toes and immediately start preparing for that next shot, as opposed to waiting until the ball gets to them. In this point, you can see that the players are constantly moving, trying to anticipate what's going to happen after that ball. And even if they stay in the same position in the court, they're bouncing on their toes, trying to get in the right position, and then moving immediately to where they need to be in order to be able to hit the best shot that they can. The second occasion is when your opponent is hitting the ball. Now this is something that you've hit a good volley and you're in a good position at the net, your partner's in a good position at net as well, the ball is bouncing on the other side of the court, and you're just focused on watching that ball. You're not watching what your opponent is doing. And this is where players get caught out, because their opponent might look like they're going to go for a lob, and in which case you could react and get into position early for your bandeja and your smashes, but instead you're watching the ball and you're not seeing what your opponent is doing, and therefore you're late on that next shot. The same applies for if they're going to hit down to your feet or they hit hard. You need to look for those visual cues of your opponent if you want to be able to anticipate what's going to happen with the ball. There's no point in watching the ball because it's the reaction of the opponent that's going to change that shot. At a high level, you need to be able to anticipate and watch for those visual cues. You see here there's a lob and the players move forward a bit at this end because they anticipate that he's going to hit a smash, and then the same happens at the far end. It's actually the case in any level, not just the high level. The earlier you can anticipate and get into a good position, the less likely you are to make a mistake and the more likely you are to win the point. The third occasion, which is also extremely common, is watching the ball when your partner's hitting. And so what's happening is they're getting lobbed or they're going to the back of the court, and you as a player are standing there watching your partner, and you're meant to be communicating with your partner what your opponents are doing. There's no way you can do that if you're watching that ball. And then what normally happens is your partner will hit that ball back. Firstly, he doesn't know where the opponents are, and secondly, even if he does, you're so busy watching there that when you turn back around, they've changed positions and they can attack you, and then suddenly you're out of position. So you should be watching your opponents, saying to your partner, they're coming forward, they're coming back, telling them where they are. That way you know either you can go back and defend, or your partner can hit the ball and then you come up again and you can be in attacking position. So these are 3 big occasions when you shouldn't be just ball watching. And as you can see, it affects court position, it affects your dominance in the point, and obviously, ultimately, it affects you winning the point. This point is a good example of how you can get visual cues and also to communicate with your partner. It's easier when the lob goes over their head because they have time for your partner to communicate. But even here where he's hitting that smash, your partner should be telling you where they are on the court. And then the whole point plays out and you're constantly trying to read what your opponents are doing. And after this lob, you can see that my partner, he's telling me where they are, so I know what shot I can select.